You've just gotten a promotion at work and you're finally ready to move out of your parents' house, both financially and emotionally. While you're excited about the next stage of your life, you're concerned about how you're going to navigate the apartment rental process and not get taken advantage of. The last time your parents rented anything was 50 years ago. You've heard way too many horror stories to count, and you feel like you're at an informational disadvantage dealing with landlords and property managers. Well, today, we are leveling the informational playing field on this episode of Renter Confidential. So many people approach the process of renting an apartment with hopelessness and despair. They feel like the property manager is determined to take advantage of them and has all the insider knowledge they need to do it. We'll shed light on some ways expert property managers can use their industry knowledge to the detriment of the average apartment renter. And more importantly, how you can level the playing field. First, property managers have access to a plethora of market resources that are not readily available to the average renter. Market research companies receive massive amounts of data from larger apartment companies about apartments, amenities, and rents for cities across the country. Property managers use that information as the basis to determine rental rates based on various factors such as location, amenities, and demand. Then they examine the properties around theirs that they consider to be their competition and make a final decision what they will charge for rent. So in your mind, you may be thinking, here we go, advantage number one. But the info from the market research companies is not really specific to any particular property you might be looking at. But there are specific local factors that may affect what that property can charge. Look for new competing properties being built in the area. New competition will siphon off applicants and make it harder for the property to rent apartments. Ask how many vacant units the property in question has and how long they've been vacant. Don't worry, they have to tell you. Otherwise, it would be perceived as if they are attempting to steer you towards certain apartments, which could be a violation of fair housing laws. And if they still won't say, you may not want to rent from them anyway. Armed with this type of knowledge, you can push back on the pricing data provided by the market research companies. In real estate, specific local information trumps regional or area-wide info every time. Second, property managers are experts in the rental process, and they should be. They go through this process multiple times a week. They know exactly what it looks like. As a renter, you may go through the process only a few times in your life. Unfortunately, there wasn't a class in high school or college about how to succeed when renting a property. So how can you level the playing field? Read all of the documents the property manager asks you to sign. The property manager knows exactly what's in it. Of course they do. They either wrote it or have seen it hundreds, if not thousands of times. They are experts in drafting these agreements and often able to include legal clauses that may be disadvantageous to you. Clauses that wouldn't really stand out to you unless you knew what you were looking for. Now I know most people don't like to read. One of my renters wanted me to wire their security deposit back to them after moving out. When I did, the clerk handed me a piece of paper and asked me to sign it in order to send the wire. It was page 2 of a 2-page contract. She didn't even bother to give me the first page to read, which meant nobody ever asked for it, meaning nobody is reading it before signing. They just sign and hope for the best. Most renters treat their lease in the same manner. There's a Simpsons episode where Lisa wants a guinea pig. Marge and Homer present her with a contract. Lisa began to read, which is exactly what she's supposed to do. The contract read, I, Lisa Simpson, agree to take full responsibility for this, quote, dog, cat, other. Homer jumps around the table to circle other on the contract. He then proceeds to flip through the remaining pages, skipping each one, calling them, quote, boilerplate. And then states that if the pet becomes an internet superstar, all rights revert to father, which of course is him. And then proceeds to point out all the signature lines. Your lease signing experience should in no way resemble Lisa's. Without reading, the renter won't know what powers the property manager has granted themselves until after the fact. Bottom line, read your lease. Even if you don't believe you'll understand certain parts, the parts you don't understand will become questions that you can ask a real estate consultant, like one at our sponsor, Rental Secrets, someone else you know who has gone through the process before, or a lawyer. Reading the lease is the best way to make sure it doesn't contain any surprises. At this point, we're going to take a quick break for today's sponsor, Apartment Search Secrets. This free book removes stress from your apartment search, and the link is in the show notes. Here's the trailer for this amazing book. That new job you've been looking for finally came through. So you're taking on a new adventure in a brand new city, which all means one thing: packing. And the stress it brings. But you can drop all that stress for free with Apartment Search Secrets. With this short ebook at your side, you'll know your value as a renter. You'll know what the internet can't tell you. You'll see landlord problems coming a mile away. And you'll get the best perspective on your rental search. Visit rentalsecrets.net for your free copy today. And we're back. Third, some property managers attempt to talk renters into renting apartments that they really can't afford. When applying for an apartment, you'll be required to provide proof of income. This usually takes the form of pay stubs from your job. Many pay stubs show not only regular pay, they may also show overtime, commissions, and other income sources. These other sources of income are likely to be non-recurring, meaning that they won't be consistently available every month. When a property manager calculates how much you can afford to pay in rent, they'll likely roll all of this income together and assume it will continue. Using this tactic allows the property manager to justify renting you the most expensive apartment you can afford. This could spell disaster and set you up to fail. Not unlike in the show Modern Family, when Cam was set up to fail after his boss discovered a student plot to protest against the speaker at the high school's graduation. His boss claimed to have been in a car accident the day of the event to avoid short-term embarrassment, but that spelled disaster for Cam. So using the higher number to qualify a renter may, in the short term, get their boss off their back about renting a particular apartment or help them receive some type of bonus. But it also may set that renter up to fail. The property manager has no idea at all what portions of your income will be recurring, but you do. So stop this tactic in its tracks by determining how much you're willing to spend on rent before you even talk to the property manager. It's important to note here that property managers are supposed to be good stewards of the property, and setting up renters to fail in this manner is definitely not in the long-term interest of the property. However, some landlords care more about short-term gain. Fourth, property managers may have staged and or painted the apartment they're showing you. The staging and new paint may distract you from focusing on what's really important. So you may be asking, what is really important? Don't be dazzled by the staged, immaculate decor and end up overlooking critical issues such as plumbing and ventilation. Look for any damage to the apartment. Flush the toilet. Check the water pressure in the shower. Open the refrigerator to see if it's cold. turn on all the stove burners at the same time and the oven to test the stove and the electrical circuit that supports it. At this stage, you are kicking the tires, very similar to what you would do if you were looking at a car. The furniture likely won't come with the apartment anyway. So what are the takeaways? Property managers can use their extensive knowledge of the property rental process against you. They have market research, knowledge of their lease, the ability to present you apartments you can't afford, and stage them to distraction. But you definitely have methods to level the playing field. Research the local area and determine what factors may impact the specific property you're looking at. Actually read the lease and other documents presented by the property manager. Determine what you want to pay beforehand. Don't let any staging distract you from any real damage the apartment might have. These steps will go a long way to leveling the playing field and help you get a better rental deal. Thanks for watching Renter Confidential. Happy apartment hunting. When it comes to renting, insider information is the best roommate you can ever have.